This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Hello, everyone. We want to give a quick shout out to our amazing partner, Rilla, the game changer in the home service industry. Rilla's virtual ride-along software means no more physical ride-alongs. With Rilla, you can coach your team virtually 100 times faster and boost your close sale rates like never before. Don't miss out. Join the movement today and watch your sales soar. Visit RILLA.com/PWT to learn more.
Most businesses' online presence is boring. And by being boring, they're losing out on potential sales and customers. Being interesting and exciting is what draws customers in and gets them to buy from you. But it's hard to be interesting online when you're focused on running your business and taking care of your customers. It doesn't have to be this way. We have the key to unlocking the solution to your problem. Key Heart Marketing can help take your business from boring to brilliant on social media. We can vouch for them. They run our podcast socials. If you want to have a strong social media presence that allows customers to know, like, and trust you, connect with Key Heart Marketing at keyheartmarketing.com.
Go ahead. Hey everyone, this is Eric Thomas with Rival Digital, and I am proud to announce that we are the newest sponsor for the Power Women of the Trades podcast. We've been a big fan and supporter of the show for years, and we are just very excited and very honored for the opportunity to now be one of the podcast sponsors. So make sure you check out their page and subscribe to the podcast and listen in on wherever you get your podcast episodes from. Rival Digital is a full-service premier digital marketing agency for the home services industry. We offer everything from website design, search engine optimization, online advertising, public relations, and more. If you're interested in learning more about the services we offer for contractors just like yourself, head on over to rivaldigital.com, and we look forward to chatting with you.
Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Oh, I know that feeling for sure. So basically, I love everything that I'm hearing from your story. Basically, is like you're a get shit done type of girl, and no one's going to tell you no, and you're going to make it happen. I relate so much to this, to you so much. I'm just no, don't tell me no. So you went to the training, and then you came back, and you're just all right, I'll just do this shit myself.
Well, I kind of was in a weird period where I'm well. So what I did was I just reverted back to my personal development because again, before I met him, I was on this deep rooted hardcore journey. And then me doing this work and having to work for somebody that was not pleasant was a really strong test to me to not fall back into my old ways. But to also, by him firing me, not letting him take that power from me. So I needed to kind of get myself back. And now I had never even heard of the words building science in my whole entire life until I took this training. So now, instead of me the year prior needing to fill my head with Brian Tracy and Les Brown and David Goggins, now I'm filling my head with building science people, building forensics, insulators, business people that have been in the trades for 30 years. So now my switch flips because I knew at that point, I wasn't going back to corporate America.
Right.
Obviously, I have a hard time working for people because I'm threatening. Even though, again, it was me doing that to bring it back to the company. I never.
I think we've talked about that a few times on this episode, this podcast. Owners who can't invest in their people to grow, or owners who are threatened by their team growing, just are never going to succeed. Like, you want your team to be smarter than you. Really? Like,
I can't be fielding these phone calls anymore. I mean, I'm about to hit 5 years in April.
mm-hmm.
And again, like I have my mold remediation certificate, like license. I don't practice it because that's a whole nother animal. Opens up a whole lot of cool things. But like I have all my several different BPI certifications. I can do blower door training, total building performance specialist. I'm a building analyst. Like I have all these certifications, right? And a lot of it's in my head. But where it gets stuck, where my issue is that there's a lot of homeowners that have these deep rooted issues where they are sick. Like they're sick or their child is sick. And I get emotionally like invested. So the big thing that, all right. So 16 years ago, what happened to me? I was pregnant and ended up having blood clots. Like I was healthy until I wasn't. And then it was 2 months of hell. In and out of the hospital, blood clot in my leg. Then 2 weeks later, pulmonary embolism. Thankfully, I'm on blood thinners from my leg. Otherwise, that could have taken me out. Then a couple weeks after that, I'm in renal failure, emergency C-section. We're both supposed to die. I'm wanting to die because I'm in a horrible marriage. And it was really bad because of the connection to my family and the situation. It was just not safe, or it was just really bad. So I'm in renal failure, and I'm actually grateful that all of it's going to be over. I just won #1 in the country for a Fortune 9 company. And like literally 2 weeks before all this went down, I finally get this big accolade and I'm going out on top. I built my dream house, and now my daughter and I are both going to be gone. We both ended up living. And then it was a miracle. At first I was mad. And that's part of like that whole 8-year thing where I really lost myself because unfortunately 5 days after my daughter was born, out of nowhere, she died a very tragic, horrible death. And I had to witness it. And it was really sad. And I think ultimately that broke me because at the height of my career, I lose my health. And then we're both supposed to die. We both live. And then unexpectedly, like the doctor walks in my hospital room. I had just gotten out of the ICU. My daughter was in the NICU. I was getting ready to go visit her. And the doctor walks in and she goes, "You need to call your family. Your daughter's going to be dead in an hour." Like it was like,
oh my goodness.
I had no clue. And I had to watch that happen. And it was something that you would see like on an ER episode or House.
Yeah.
Very graphic. Like it was just really sad. And
I'm so sorry. Oh my God.
What? That broke me. And like, I tell a lot of people that and they'll cry. And it's like, I'm not a victim anymore. And
I know, but that's a huge piece of your story and your growth and why you've I think that's just, I've known you for 29 minutes. I've talked to you for 29 minutes and I can tell you that there's a lot of things that I have learned from you in this time of that you are a powerhouse and not back down. You're going to do things, but you've got a story that genuinely like that would have broke so many people. And it did, but you came back from it. And some people wouldn't have came back from it. Right.
Yeah.
And
and that's the thing. Like, again, I think what killed me is, again, like, I'm not going to go into the detail, but of what I saw, but I still see that. Right. And
your baby
that, for many years, I was a victim. It was, well, woe is me. I went through this and this was my childhood and blah, blah. Nobody loves me. Get the fuck over it. Like, it happened. And if anything in your life happens to you and you're going to just feel bad about yourself, you will continue to stay stuck. And the moment that when I walked into that gym and I never thought who after 16 years would quit their career when they had nothing going on. Right. That's to the point where I knew in my head, I saw a picture of myself 6 years ago. It was like the other day. I wouldn't even send the picture to my boyfriend on his phone. And I'm not like that. You can go back and you'll see me posting like progress pictures. That's the worst I had ever been. And I showed it to my boyfriend. I'm like, I'm not texting it to you. I would never even want you to show anybody.
Right.
He's like, I wouldn't have even dated you. And he's not even like that. But, well, I guess obviously he is. But, you know, you just like lose yourself. And I, you know, one thing that my coach made me realize at that time, nothing is more important than health and happiness. Anything that is affecting you in that capacity, it's got to go. And too many people stay in relationships. Like, for example, I married the first guy I ever dated. I met him when I was 15. He was the first and only man I had ever been with in any capacity my whole life until I was 27 years old, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? As an Italian woman, and you know what, you have all these things in your mind that you stay. And at the time, everything was in my name, all the credit, all of our assets, all of our cars in my name. So I can't afford to leave, right? And finally, when I got the strength to do it, when you realize like
something's got to change.
Like, again, 800 credit score, money in the bank. I filed for divorce and I like lost everything. He came after me for alimony and health benefits.
Of course he did. Right.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Anyway,
but you grew. How old are you?
40.
40. I'm 42. I'm 40 also. I'm 40.
Oh, okay. When's your birthday?
August 6th. So I turned
85?
Yeah.
I'm April 25th.
Awesome. Awesome.
Respect your elders.
Yeah, for sure, girl. But I can tell you that I think that there's like a mental shift after 35 for sure. And then I think there's a shift at 40 also. Like I literally don't give two shits anymore. I'm just like, I care about what I care about. I care about myself, my family, God, my people. Right. But like all the things that like on social media, I have quite a big following for people just not liking me. And they
hate us because they ain't us.
Right. And I post about it a lot and people will be like, well, quit letting it get to you. And I'm like, girl, it is so far.
Like I could literally care less. Like you're not taking up headspace.
I literally am going to keep posting it though, because it makes me money. Okay. Like I'm making money.
Because I would love to be making money. There's the Attic Queen and then there's Jessica Azarelo. They are.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm like, I'm just like, you gotta go. You gotta just like, but you just change. I think after certain ages, I think I try to tell like Kailee this sometimes. I'm like, oh, it'll change. Like the things that you worry about now, it just changes, but it's part of just like life.
The most beautiful thing is when you realize that you have control over who is in your life. You don't have control over what other people think. A lot of other people don't spend even an hour. If people would put even 30 minutes of their time first thing in the morning to something personal development related, like I usually do at least 2 hours of personal development stuff every single morning before I even start my day. Like I'm up between 3:30 and 5 every single day. And I'm writing my goals down. I'm drinking my water. I have a tea regimen. I have to read something, listen to something motivational, exercise, move your body. All of these, I have like 11 things that I do every morning before I start my day. And the problem is people don't start their day investing in themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So the good thing is when you get yourself to a certain level, and I actually met a lady in the sauna the other day where this other psychopathic member, where we have a membership to, one day we're best friends and the next day it was like a whole big war. And the lady witnessed this lady getting all crazy on me. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's fine. So the lady, I haven't seen her in months. The other day I'm in the sauna and she goes, I don't know if you remember me, but there's the one day that crazy lady was in there. She's like, I just want to commend you because you had no reaction. And I wish that I could have that kind of composure. I said, I have no control over what's going on in her mind. And clearly she's disturbed. Now, the old me, 34-year-old, 6-year-old ago, You bet your ass we're going down in that sauna.
And so I say this all the time. I'm like, listen, you better be real glad you're getting the healed Cassie right now, because the 6 years ago, Cassie, it would have been a crazy.
Yeah. But the thing is, you want to know what the worst part about it is? The 6 year ago Jessica and the 6-year-old Cassie.
Mm-hmm.
Think about how ugly that is. Think about how toxic that is. Think about how you felt. Like, think about the emotions that it then triggers you. It literally can totally ruin your day.
Yeah.
The only thing that's ruining my day is not a whole lot.
Not a lot, right?
Not a whole lot. I can't even, nothing. Because guess what? I'm too blessed to be stressed. And let's see, come in 7 days from today at 9:30 in the morning, I was getting wheeled into surgery, expecting to be dead and being grateful to be gone. And the impact that I've made and the transformation that I have made in the last 16 years has been absolutely incredible. And the people that I've lost along the way, I thank you. The people that I've gained along the way, I thank you. And at the end of the day, I just focus on what's going on now and knowing that things can always be worse. Things have been worse. I shouldn't be here. So anything that I could do today is just a bonus.
I think that's such a huge, awesome. Like, I hope that people are listening, just like take that in and like listen to it and write it down, because there's so much of this life that we get caught up in and like let control us and like let consume our thoughts about ourselves. And just like, there's so much there.
Yeah. But I just don't like take excuses. It's just like, there's even more like when I got into it, but I know we were only supposed to talk for 20 minutes.
Well, no, you're fine. You're fine. So I got a question though. So what made you start? Because I found you on Reels, right?
Yeah.
So what made you start the Addict Queen, like branding yourself that way on social media?
All right. So I actually started branding myself that way when I was working for the other company. So how he started, again, he was a businessman. He found a company in Texas that used to have one of the largest insulation contracting companies out in the Houston area. They were running 8 trucks. Then they also started wholesaling certain products that they would install. So they were over dealing with the day-to-day of the customers. And basically what they would do is they would install certain products to increase profitability on job sites, right? You're doing more work for one customer to increase your profits. And ultimately, it's giving the customer better results. So they decided they wanted to get out of the business to consumer and go business to business. So the owner of the company that I started working for, he bought all of their equipment and brought it back to Florida. So the wholesale company, we would buy the products from them. Their company colors started as green, white, and black. He kept the same colors, green, white, and black. So I was working for him locally. I also started wholesaling for the same company. So I'm a rep for the wholesaler, green, white, and black. I am the salesperson for the installer company. And then I don't know, I was like, well, I like these colors. And then I'm like a woman. And again, I'm just like mesmerized. People are just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
So I came up with the name Addict Queen, and, I would just start referencing myself as that. And I like the color. I remember my first t-shirts I bought from TJ Maxx for like $3, or like be like a cute outfit, right? And then I went to the flea market, right? And I found this guy, and I'm like, hey, could you like write addict, like hashtag Addict Queen on it? It's so funny because now I'm getting all these memories of me in my janky Addict Queen attire. And, so I'm kind of like, yeah, it's like green and it's like matching. And I would always, for the last, after I did my transformation, I would always, for the last 5 or 6 years, I would just be myself for Halloween. And I would wear one of my athletic jerseys or whatever. So every year I've been the Addict Queen. So the first year I was the very naughty Addict Queen. Let me see if I got the heels over there. Anyway, Well, you know how us girls like to get a little crazy on Halloween, and we get those cute outfits. But anyway, so I like the logo back then was like horrible. So he fired me, and then I'm like just kind of hanging around. And at that training, I met this one guy, and he owned an HVAC company. He was in the Navy. He was one of the highest ranking chiefs, like on the submarine, and was working part-time at the base doing all the maintenance. But he decided to buy an insulation setup, a vacuum and a blower. We meet at the training, and I just totally like shocked everybody. I'm sitting front row. The trainer's like, who in here loves to remove insulation? I'm like the only one, because I'm like, you know, and obviously women are supposed to stay home and vacuum. So why wouldn't I love vacuuming insulation out of attics? So I'm like, because again, I'm like, now again, I went from fat to like that. I'm like super shredded. I got all these like cuts and stuff. So I'm catching all these people's attention. So anyway, the day 3 of the training, this guy hands me, and I have it actually somewhere in here. I always keep like special things. And it was a list of like 10 questions about, you know, my values as an individual, future goals. It was like 10 questions. So on the bottom of it, he wrote his phone number, and he's like, I want you to think about these questions and give me a call in a couple weeks. And actually how it got to it, it was like the first night of the training. I brought my girlfriend with me, who actually, not my, like my friend that's a girl.
Yeah, I got
and none of that matters. But she was just like an inspiration to me. She was like, I only had like 3 friends in Florida, because again, I was living here for like a year, and I was kind of like going through an awkward stage. So she was like my friend, and she did marketing. She was like Miss International, the United States of America. And I'm like, well, I have this training. I'll pay for you to come with me. And I'm like, I'll pay for all your stuff. So she comes with me. And she ended up making my logo. But anyway, the first night, her and I go out to dinner with the trainer and all the people running the training. And we come back in, and it's him and 2 other guys that are sitting in the lobby. And we go over and say hi. And he's like, what's your story anyway? I'm like, well, basically, I'm here to save lives, change the world, dance for Kid Rock just one time while living my best life. And I'm going to make $5 million in the next 3 years. And he's like, well, how are you going to do that? And I'm like, well, I guess you're going to just have to find out. So that was kind of like what got his gears going. And then when the training ends, he hands me this list. He's like, think about it and give me a call in a couple of weeks. So I call him. And again, he's like an HVAC guy, retired military, has a pension, doing maintenance stuff, doesn't really need to work, but wants to work. And so I call him, and he's like, well, so I own an AC company. I can't really fit in an attic. He was like 6'5", 6'4", big dude. And he's like, you know, so it's a good opportunity. And he was living, the training was in Jacksonville, and he lived in Georgia. But like, I call it Jacksonville, Georgia, because it was like exit 3. So it was like a 4.5 hour ride. And so he's like, all right, well, I'll give you 50% ownership in my HVAC company if you help me out with the insulation. And I'm like, well, I'm not moving to Georgia. I'm not going to date you. I'm not going to sleep with you. And I'm broke, so I don't have any money to give you. And he goes, well, that's fine. I was like, okay. So I was living in Tampa at the time. So it started with, he booked a job, and then I would drive the 4 hours, go do the jobs with him. And that's it. We maybe did like 4 jobs. But he would like check in with me. Now, meanwhile, while I'm back here, I'm just listening to personal development stuff. People are like messaging me on the internet because they knew I was doing insulation for the other company, but I hadn't publicly said like, hey, I'm not working there anymore. You know,
Right.
Again, I was kind of like in a weird thing, but like I'm still doing it, but I just have to drive to Georgia whenever he's doing it. Now,
Right.
He was a horrible salesman. Now, not that it's a matter of selling, but AC and insulation go hand in hand. So if you're going to service an air conditioning unit, peek your head up in the attic. A lot of times you don't even need to go in the attic because they're not in there, but like you're doing your people a disjustice. If they have 3 inches of insulation when they should have 16, your air conditioner is going to work harder premature damage. So anyway, he couldn't get out of tech mode to sales mode. And he said it to me. He's like, I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, you're just not helping your people out properly. So he'd be like, well, why don't you open up a business in Florida and just take the equipment? I'm like, well, I don't have a truck. And he's like, well, buy one. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to drive a trailer. And he's like, well, learn. And I'm like, well, what about when you get a job? He's like, well, then bring the trailer back. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's how that started. So I decided on April 15th to get an EIN number and go on Sunbiz. I mean, who does that on tax day? I wouldn't recommend it. Bad idea. And that's just kind of how that happened. So Attic Queen will be 5 on April 15th.
I love that.
Such a cool story.
Yeah.
It really is.
Cool.
And he held true to his word. I didn't have to date him, sleep with him, give him any money. I didn't have to move to Georgia, but he's, now I'm kind of in a situation where obviously I have control issues. And as an insulation company, I kind of call us more of home performance because what we do is niche. Like we are now known to specialize in cleaning everything out. Then we'll sanitize the attic. And then we'll go foam all of the cracks because you can add insulation until you're blue in the face. Insulation does just that. It slows the resistance of heat or cold from one area to the other. But once it makes its way into the penetrations, your can lights, your AC vents, anywhere where there's a wall in your house, you have a top plate that has electrical holes, you're losing 20 to 30% of your energy through those penetrations. So adding insulation, it will help you, but it's not going to ultimately get down to the core root of the issue. So, and this is all things that I've learned where it's kind of like, I don't want to just add insulation to somebody's house and it's not getting to the core root of the issue. And a lot of times it can actually put people in worse situations, right? So, and there's like a certain way of doing it. Like if people that have major issues, a lot of it, it's not only the insulation or the envelope, but it's the mechanicals. And if the envelope and air leakage doesn't match the mechanicals, it's wrong. So like, I'm kind of like, I really want to be licensed HVAC, and I'm trying to get him to come down here because at the end of the day, all I care about is doing a great job for customers. And we can coordinate all we want until we're blue in the face with HVAC companies. But in my opinion, to do attics the right way, especially a lot of our customers are doing full replacements with ductwork and units. Nobody's coming in and doing it in the right order. And I just want to be able to change that. So
awesome.
Putting it out there, I would lose business from other HVAC companies, but at the end of the day, like I really want to do a better job for people. So maybe
that sounds like a huge goal. That sounds like a really good goal. Like
it is. And I mean, he's like, I'll qualify you. It's all of that. And it's just, I have the application sitting right here. And I'm like,
the more like in my own personal business, like adding services was 100% for the better of the customer, right? It like there, and then the desire to provide the same type of service for our customers, but then also like they all go hand in hand. And so that's a great goal. And I think that you have a really cool business. And I've loved this chat with you. We've gone like way over time, which is fine. It was such a organic conversation.
I loved it.
Yeah. So I really think that you're going to like inspire so many people. And I want to stay in touch with you because I have some insulation questions. I was writing notes. I'm like, you got some really good points and you really know what you're talking about. So
I know too much.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
It literally keeps me up at night.
Yeah. I totally, when you said that earlier, I was like, girl, I know too much. It's the ADHD and you just like constantly on a wheel. Yeah.
And it's just so exciting.
Yes, for sure. Well, I want to stay in touch for sure. And thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
It really was so nice to get it's so surreal because I live in a fantasy. Like I close my eyes, like I'll have to send you the video of my 40th birthday party. I had 7 wardrobe changes. I performed a song on stage, and in the middle of the song, when it went from slow to fast, I ripped off my top outfit and had an outfit underneath it, and I had a tambourine, and it's all good. It's all fun. and I love what I do. And it's just, I have so many people reaching out and they're like, you're such an inspiration, or like, you've helped me in this way, or you taught me this. And it's just like, it's, you know, I don't have kids. I now have other medical issues. I can't have kids. So it's kind of, you know, for the longest time, and it's kind of a hard pill to swallow that, like, as a woman, you don't have that tradition. You're worthless, right?
You're not.
For what no. But for what a woman should be. But what I surely am for a woman is I'm really good at vacuuming, and I'm really good at making a house nice and healthy.
And you are giving back to women every day by sharing your story like that and showing what you can do. Like you're empowering women that you don't even know that you're touching just by sharing that story and getting in those attics and teaching about insulation and teaching about healthy breathing and all of those things. And so that's huge. And you should be really proud of yourself.
You want to hear a plot twist?
What is it?
This is a whole nother episode. 2 years into my business, I used to literally do everything. I would answer phone call. I would be vacuuming and a customer would call. I'd take an application, schedule an estimate. So 2 years into my business, I had a freak accident on a job site and I fell and I crushed my spine. And fortunately, I'm not paralyzed, but I'm all metal from like my belly button down to my tailbone and into my hips. So I can't go in attics anymore. And I was going to shut my business down. And I was able to figure out a way to keep it going. And not a lot of people know about that. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm not here to have people know what my problems are. And, you know, a lot of people do know about it, but it just depends on what video that targeted you that, you know, I came across your algorithm. But like, it literally took me breaking my back to get me out of the attic. And for years, everyone's like, you need to get out of the attic and work on building your business. You need to get, and then boom, break my back. And it was anybody that ever,
sometimes you're just forced to do it that way, right?
Sometimes the universe just says, I'm going to do you a solid and I'm going to break your back physically. And it's going to be the best thing that could ever happen to you.
Hey, I mean, again, there's just the power, you know,
in addicts. It's like, it's literally, that's the biggest, I would probably say that's the hardest pill for me to swallow, because I found myself again in attics after I didn't know who I was, you know, so.
Well, you're still doing great things and you're sharing it out there and teaching the world. And so that's great stuff, girl.
And I have so much content that I never had time to post back then that nobody even knows. Like half the people don't even know I'm out. They're like, oh man, I saw you. I'm like,
it's been a while. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. And hopefully we'll meet up sometime soon in the future.
Yes. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review in Apple and make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.